sequencing emotion in delicate formation. Numerology's wisdom is a language of vibration. Welcome to the Numerology Hour. Host Kelly Brickle is a numerologist, psychic medium, and teacher. Her passions are learning about the soul and energy. Whether it's working with spirit, emotion, or vibrational numbers, precision and heart always enters the equation. Now, your host of the Numerology Hour, Kelly Brickle.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Numerology Hour on WLTKDB Let's Talk Radio. Wow, we are in September. September. I love it. The 9th month. I always appreciate September because it's a 9-month and it amplifies a lot of other numbers. Once you do numerology more, you start to see how 9, when you add it up, it kind of doesn't change anything most times. And so you're left with that number. It's just, it changes the ultimate addition, of course. And so when you're looking at kind of the finite details, things change. But when someone's born on a 9-month, they're going to have double numbers in their chart guaranteed. If they're born on a 9-month and a 9-day, they're going to have triple numbers. So usually you see repeating themes, and it amplifies what that person has to learn through in their life. So we are in the month of September, and that means there's going to be some double lessons during the week. Always look out for that. So hello, everybody. Hello, Delik. Hello, Tina. Hello. Yes, we're going to be doing readings later on in the show. That's how we close out. And I'm wishing everyone a good week. We had Labor Day. Some of us had some extra days, some of us didn't. But whatever is going on, whether, it's a good week or a stressful week, I always try to have the philosophy of, there are infinite possibilities. So as many bad possibilities or even neutral possibilities there are the same amount of good possibilities that can happen. And I try to go, okay, energy, anything can happen. Let me kind of go into the good. Let me lean into that a little bit because I know it is a true possibility. It's not just me being optimistic. This is something that I can lean into. It's also good within numerology to learn about your daily numbers and how you can lean into that energy too. We're talking about the personality number today, so we're going to go into that. But I think that is a show that I want to definitely talk about with our cycle numbers in numerology. You can wake up and go, hey, today's going to be a good day based on numerology. And I always welcome those days. I really do. Like, for instance, I know today for my chart, speaking will be easier. I will. I have some harmonious numbers that will help that happen, and for things to be a little bit more steady. If I can find that pocket for myself, I know that I'm going to be just fine. There are other days where it doesn't matter how prepared I am, things are going to get rumbly based on the numbers in my chart. So there's a lot to learn and there's a lot to talk about with this lovely modality. Yes, before I get started too, I have a course coming up, a webinar, and those details are going to be up this week. The webinar actually already is. So I have a webinar with the Lisa Williams School of Spiritual Development, and there's a course attached to it, and there is a beginner's numerology course that will happen in September, and it's going to be on September 30th, and it's going to be like close to all day class, and we're really going to dive into the fundamentals of numerology. And so the webinar explaining what we're going to do and what future classes are going to happen, because there's going to be classes going on as well as on the intermediate level and also on an advanced certification level for even next year for people who really, really want to learn how to read to a large extent or have that be a part of their career. So that is going to be all accessible. And I think there's some information on Lisa's website about it with the webinar. If you go to the student community, it's definitely up. So you'll see it up on my social medias pretty soon. But yeah, so if you want to learn about what we're doing and all about that, it's going to be up. And if you've ever wanted to become a numerologist, these are really the courses for that, because it's all about teaching you how to read, not just learning about numerology, but actually teaching you how to read and teaching you some really unique things with numerology that makes you accurate and confident along the way. So there you go. Let's talk about the personality number as well as take some questions. So really quick, I always love to take questions. Off the bat, Delic asks, 9 is represented with the Hermit card in tarot. I'd like to ask if September has the same energy in general. Okay, interesting. So sometimes we have crossovers, like really good crossovers. So we've talked about it within astrology before. It can be, like tarot because the cards are numbered. Hello, Shaylee. Um, Sometimes those crossovers are on the money, and sometimes they're in ballpark, and sometimes they don't translate as well. Okay. So just think about it. With numerology, it's pretty powerful because you go back to this place of simplicity. What are the vibrations of 1 through 9 and what do they mean? And that kind of helps some of the mystery if things do connect. Yes, it is a little bit more complicated than that sometimes, but that's where you go first, always, for everything. So you're asking about the number 9 and if it's similar to the Hermit card. And the Hermit card, at least in my experience, it's about going within, it's about withdrawing. It could be going within, like, you're building crone energy, you have to be, true unto yourself. You have to step away, hard lessons, like, personal truths. For me in numerology, that really highlights the vibration of 7 very well. Okay, so there's that. Um, there's also, stepping with that stepping away card and learning some hard lessons and, feeling like you have to do it by yourself or holding yourself away. Again, that can be some 7 energy, but it does highlight some 9 energy because people within their lives, when they've had a lot of 9 energy, they do have some very hard lessons usually. It's lessons of basically they have to help other people, or they'll probably help other people more in their life than other people will help them on average. Um, Not always the case for everyone who has a 9, okay? But sometimes there's a theme of I can help people more than they can help me. I'm more capable because I see things from a very different perspective than other people do. And my perspective is a little bit, let's say, of a broader perspective. My skills are of a broader perspective with how I can apply them. So the 9 does deal with hermit energy at times. It really does. But usually within numerology, when you see 9s, it's a very social number. So this is where the crossover truly ends. 9 is a very social number. So these people have had a lot of hardships in 9, either mentally or a physical or psychological situation. Okay, 9s breathe that energy with how the energy swirls around them. But since they're social, they're usually out in the on the earth trying to fix it, help it, or they're a part of other groups or friendships or relationships that have gone through similar traumas, and they go, "Hey, you're one of me. I can relate to you." And they bond usually. They find their people unconventionally. Or, yeah, they can be loners sometimes, but usually they're out and about trying to do something, with society because they have so much unrest. And the hermit, the hermit does not have unrest usually, while they're trying to figure out society or figure out themselves, or they're forced right into the cave to build the knowledge and to seek the truth. So you have some of that seven energy, okay, with the hermit, absolutely. And the nine may be about acquiring wisdom the hard way, acquiring some of the lessons the hard way, okay. um the hermit can be a very spiritual card. Nine is a very spiritual number. That's where I see a lot of the crossovers. I could do probably more analysis with it, but I'm giving that over to you within that light. Okay. The last thing I'll say on it is nines can be misunderstood a lot. And the hermit can be misunderstood. So sometimes you can be around people but feel quite alone. You can be around others but feel like an outcast. And sometimes I do know a lot of nines that are social people that do feel like outcasts. And it's a perpetual thing that they're just like, oh, I just found people to be around as I feel like an outcast, or I feel a little uncomfortable in life. And that's why they root for the underdogs or become friends with the underdogs, or they hang out with unlikely people sometimes, or do unlikely things because they really feel like an outcast or an underdog themselves. And the hermit card can play into some of that energy. But yeah, yeah. So it's not a perfect crossover, but there's themes definitely. Okay. All right. I like the energy. And you asked me about September too as well. So September is the month of nine, and it's really when September comes up, you're going to be looking at that nine energy, kind of infused into things, more so than just pure definition. It's just how the number plays into other numbers when you're adding things. Okay. So, hey, hello, hello, everyone coming in. Hello, Keith. Hello, Kaza. Hello. Yes, I remember the names coming in. It's always nice to see people. It's always nice to have support. Absolutely. So thank you for being in the Numerology Hour house. I appreciate it. Okay. So for the personality number, okay. So this is under the category of your birth dates, with the day that you were born, and the numbers that you have from such. Okay. There are certain important calculations that are from your name, and there are certain ones from your birth date. And so the personality number is, oh my gosh, my brain. I was thinking about cycle numbers for some reason. I don't know why. It's so funny. Okay. Hopefully we can just modify that because I'm being all over the place apparently. So the personality number is from the vibrations of your name. Okay. It's from the vibrations of your name. And it's an important conversation that we always have, whether in depth or very quickly when we start. The personality number with being your name, you have to have an understanding of who your identity is, um, who you are, what your name is. Okay. Um, Now, the personality number can be used for any name, and you can look at phases of yourself throughout your life. You can be like, what was my energy when I, was a child and people considered me with this name? What was my energy like, let's say, when in my 20s or 30s when I had that name? What's my energy now? Okay. Or I have more than one name. How do my friends versus family feel because I have two different names. Like, when I go one visit family, one visit friends, it's very, very important to talk about. Yes, it sometimes is a redundant conversation, but it really is. And you have to go, what is my truest identity? Or what are my two identities that I use most often? And so which one am I looking at right now? What personality am I looking at right now that I want to learn about in numerology? So you have to look at the timeline of what name you're choosing. Okay. Very, very important distinction in numerology. And so let's say you're working with the one that is most current. And you should by when you're looking at your numbers, you could if you're looking at an old name, you're looking how you used your energy, let's say 10 years ago then or whatever, the timeline is on that name. So you have to use a current name if you're looking at current energy and you're wondering, how do I work in the world? Okay, so there's your name disclaimer. So once you know the name you're looking at, you take the vowels and the consonants into consideration, right? And so, I, again, just another disclaimer, if you have a Y, learn if it's a consonant or a vowel in your name, okay? If the Y is next to another vowel, it's a consonant. And there's other rules in English that you can just look up online, okay? It's mostly simple once you get the hang of it, all right? So you have to understand if your Y is being counted as a vowel or consonant, and that can throw off your calculation too. So be very, very mindful of how you're calculating your name, please. Your birth date numbers, much easier to navigate, but the personality number has to be talked about. And so that's why we have all those disclaimers. Okay. So with the personality number, once you looked at all that stuff, you're going to be now aware of the consonants only. Okay. So just the consonants. Once you've added up the consonants in your first name and last name, and it's only the first and last name you go by, because you don't introduce yourself with your middle name, okay? Um, you will then get a number from that. You will break down that with addition and then break it down further into a single digit number. And there you go. Okay. So a personality number is very helpful because it's one of your core six in Pythagorean numerology. Okay. There's six numbers that are very important in people's charts. And this number goes into what your personality is on the outside and the one that you carry when you walk in the world with how people view you, how other people identify with you. It's also how you identify with yourself. It's so it's a very influential number and it's very highlighting with how you use your energy in the world. Okay. So this is one of the numbers where once you understand that vibration that you break down and you find it, you go, oh, okay, that does sound like me. You don't always get that for every number. You won't go like, wow, that sounds exactly like me. Once you understand the definition of the number, you go, oh, I see how, because that's how I use my energy. With the personality number, it should be you should have cross overs where, oh, I not only do I see myself that way, but I use my energy that way. Okay. And crossovers of, oh, wow, people do definitely treat me like that consistently. It's not a one time thing. So that's usually how you see your validation show up within the personality number. So I always like to go into it too. So we've talked about the personal day number on this show. And the personality number is like the personal day number on steroids. So the personal day number is just kind of this surface vibration where people go, "Oh, you seem to be like that." Now, the personality number, it's going to be you seem to be like that, but after they know you. So that still holds true with your friends, your family, your coworkers that you see on an ongoing basis. Okay. with the personal day number, that can dispel and be like, oh, I really vibed you to be a certain way, but you surprised me, or wow, okay, what, this is who you really are, right? So the personality number transcends time, which the personal day number necessarily doesn't. So that's how they're very different, and the personality number is way more influential because of that reason. It sticks with you. It's very true to who you are. Um, it's your persona. Okay. So when we are walking in the world with our personality number, it does pair very nicely with our life path number too, as well. Um, the personality number does highlight a lot of times how you are functioning in your job, because people go, this is so and so, and you're more likely to ascend in your job or take on further roles in your job based on your personality number. So very good to learn about it. So let's dive in. Okay, and hello everybody coming on in. So we're going to start with vibration 1. So the personality number with vibration 1, you're going to be looking at a person that has the persona of being a leader. Okay. Um, this is, like I said, standout energy. You get noticed more easily. We've talked about with how one can work like this. In this placement, other people will go, okay, you are an individual, or you are somebody that we look up to. Okay. So this is a person that doesn't have a problem within their peer group or within their coworkers letting people know their opinion. This is a person that's not afraid of conflict necessarily, because they see things a certain way. Okay. So they're going to be very secure in themselves, and they're not afraid to tell somebody, I'm not really that type of person, right? And because of that, they can come into leadership if they want to very easily, because other people will see them standing apart, and they will feel like that this person is somebody who is sturdy and has consistent, sturdy opinions, if thus they prefer the leadership. Now, if someone doesn't prefer leadership and they have a personality 1, they will be very competitive. Okay. Where they don't necessarily want to lead people, but they want to be the best. They're going to work really hard because they want things to go so in a way where they feel like they are besting others enough, where they feel like they have competence. They have like a personal goal that they are always kind of being motivated to get to, where it does feel like life is a little bit of a competition. How can I be better here? How can I be better there? Okay, I'm in this job. Can I be someplace better? All right. So on to the next. Right? So it's like that standout vibration. If they are where they want to be, they will try to lead or consistently be competitive. If they're not where they want to be, they will actually kind of be a little bit of a loner sometimes, but they will be productive. Okay. I do see a lot of people who have personality 1s. People more so do tend to give them the leadership role, even if they don't want it. So they'll back out of it being kind of the loner, or they will like come into it and actually get a kick out of it. So, how do other people see you? Largely on your personality. Once you understand your personality number, what do you want to do about your personality number? What powers do you want to enact? Because this is not something that people will just act around you with. They will actually become with you, um, and support you with being this vibration too, as well. Okay. And then we're going to personality 2. So when someone has a personality 2, they are seen as very kind and nurturing. There is always this feeling that they're here to help. there's always kind of this feeling of softness. There's this feeling that people will either feel very feminine, because not everyone's comfortable with feminine energy. Not everyone's comfortable with soft energy, but the gentleness does breed some type of trust if people are. It lets the other person know that, okay, this is a person who is capable of, making sure others are okay. This is another person capable of just being a little bit more careful and using diplomacy, using you know methods where they're checking in with other people. Two is a very sensitive number. Remember, it's the number of empathy. And when people are extremely empathetic, just like a personality two would be, they're always checking in others, and they're doing it in a very careful and considerate and gentle way most times, because they're aware of how other people feel. So there's the, hey, how you doing? Um, even if they're not super social people, they'll check in on you to a certain degree. Oh, I've noticed this. Oh, you know, how you doing today? Are you having a good day? Are you having a bad day? And they're gonna do that based on emotions. So people with personality too, they're very much natural counselors on a certain level. They're very in tune to other people, and thus you will make decisions within your life as a personality too. How much do I want to get involved? You will always be involved on a level that you kind of don't even choose. It's just how much do you want to get involved, because you're aware of situations that you're not even a part of, and you can help or you can hinder based on your decisions, because you're picking up so much information about other people. And so other people will see you as a person where it's like, wow, thank you for, helping the situation, or helping calm down the situation, or thank you for checking in with me, right? Or on the flip side, they will see you as, like, because you're watery, you have this watery softness, they will try to sometimes overpower you. Think about it. There's vibration one, what we talked about, the leadership energy, and then there's two, and then, like, that's sometimes the psychic, the right hand person. And so you will always not be in the energy in the personality department if there's stronger personalities around you, or a personality one, where people will go to you for the final decision sometimes, unless you exhibit other characteristics, or you ignite your leadership in other roles, or lean into other numbers that you have in your chart. So you really have to assert yourself with this number if you want people to take you seriously. But once you've come into your own skin and your own power, people actually have a lot of respect for the gentle touch and the wisdom that you go about handling situations and people. Okay. So then we're going into personality three. Okay. The personality number of three. This is going to make you seem very fun. You might laugh a lot. You might have a smile a little bit more than your average person. Okay. The personality of three is kind of like the jester a little bit, the comedian, the jester, the storyteller. Three is all about communication. So this person will have the gift of gab. Um, and this person will feel like, they need to help uplift rooms, situations, people. They can feel if communication is in the air, and they will go like, oh, it's really stale in here, it's really quiet in here, it doesn't feel very fun in here. They're very sensitive to people's emotions, but they handle the situation differently. They don't look to comfort, they look to uplift. They don't look to tend to the same way. They look to have somebody laugh, or to think a different way. Okay. So the two is a watery restoration, and the three is an airy restoration. Okay. It gets things going a different way. And so when you have threes, um, since It's honestly, when you have a 3, it's the number of entertainment as well as the number of communication. So they want to just work the room, these people. They want to make people smile, like I talked about. And there's this intrinsic need to do so. So it's basically, again, on what level is a personality 3 doing this? If they're not trying to make people laugh, they will try to make people think. They will try to stimulate them to talk. Okay. This is just innately within the personality 3. And the 3, we've talked about it in numerology, it can only operate with others. The 3 does not operate very well at all with self. With 3, you need an audience. Okay. So 3 will make sure that they have an audience where this is a more social person, where they will have more friends than your average person in life, because they can facilitate these communications. Situations easily. They can bring people to them. They can enact like people to talk back. All right. So this is a person who sometimes is scattered with their communications too if they haven't controlled or stepped into their own power, because they, let's say, have many friends, but they need to work on building the quality, okay, with what's around them, whether it's in their workplace or whether it's in their home life or friend life. Um, there is also an issue of self-esteem sometimes because you're playing the role to the other. You're being the jester, you're being the comedian, you're being the performer. So sometimes you see people really be scattered within their own sense of self with this number. For people who are more centered, they will always be trying to uplift the room, even though they feel kind of at peace with their mission. They will feel like anytime I step out, I have to be a certain way. I have to put it on a show, even though I'm okay with it. I just wish that other people kind of would put on a show for me occasionally or trying to check in with me and uplift me. Okay. So they give a lot of energy to others, threes. And because most time it is in an uplifting or a light capacity, because 3 is a very light-hearted number. It doesn't take itself too seriously most times. It doesn't provide situations with others that are too serious. It wants to make people laugh and smile the most, honestly. Not always, but the most. You have that undercurrents. Um, you just have to make sure that other people take you seriously at the end of the day, okay? There's a lot of very capable people in personality 3 placements that sometimes they don't get the job or they don't have people see them how they want to, even though they're like the best people in the room, because for whatever reason others don't take them seriously. They go, "Oh, you're the entertainment." Right? Or like, "Wow, you're an amazing person. You always make me laugh." And then they think about that and they don't think about the other attributes of the person. So the 3 has to cultivate a vibration of being taken seriously and being respected along with these other things about them. Okay? All right, so personality 4. When you have somebody who's a personality 4, they come into a room and they are very consistently known as being people who are more sturdy, not the most spontaneous person at all. They're very consistent people with their choices. They prefer things to be more organized. They like plans, and they help others by showing up for people with consistency themselves. They're individuals who do like to be lifelong learners. So within sometimes with certain numbers, they pair well really good with life path number. We talked about that. And when you see someone with a personality 4, you will see them in some capacity where they're the lifelong student or the lifelong teacher, because they love knowledge and they love that interaction of like, how can I stimulate my brain? How can I get others to think deeper about their actions? Because the 4 is the planner. Okay. They like to be methodical with how they go about things. And to be methodical, you have to have some good knowledge under your belt. And so the fours will go like, okay, how can we do this most effectively? And from that, you have people who are very hard workers, and they look to make sure that things are in order. Okay. And you have people who are more serious, and the four comes with an earthy vibration, so they infuse earth energy into things, and wind energy too, because they have that cerebral of, they first are methodical. This is important, with the four. They're like, how can I do this a better way, or what's the right way to do that? The right way really comes in a lot. What's the right way to do this? um, because it's black and white for a four, and with how they operate. So once the analysis in their mind kind of gets into it, then they go, got it, and then they get to work. They want results. Fours want results. They want things to be tangible. They want things to have happened in a way where I thought about this and I did it, and I'm an efficient person. So these people are very productive. As long as they have their minds straight, very productive people, very reliable people, people who will have your back. Um, as long as you're not all over the place, scattered 24/7, and they can, be at peace with that, they will. If you have a friend in this placement, they have your back. They'll show up there like, you know what, I got this. I'll plan the trip. You know what, I got this. You're really stressed out. Let me help you out with this. Or, I just read, this article. Have you ever tried this or that? I think that will help you. The fours want to ultimately bring like that energy, whatever is in the air. They go, okay, let's settle it down, and let's settle it down with some reason, whether it's logic or really good knowledge of how to remedy the situation. Okay. The fours like things a little bit square. Think about the four corners of the room. They like things a little bit neat, and orderly, and a little bit predictable. And some fours like things very, very predictable. They're your stereotypical, let's say, predictability person, groundhog day person. Sometimes if they have a lot of four energy. Okay. But it's because they have understood a way to do things well, and they just want results. Okay. So, all right, we're going into five. A personality of five. And I want to give people with personality four credit. Like, people with personality four or other four placements, um, as long as they are grounded within themselves and have a certain level of maturity, these people, like, I mean, they're money makers. They get things done. Okay. So, yeah, like things might be a little square sometimes, but these people get things done. And it's a very helpful number to have if you want to be successful, that four energy. So, silver linings, I'm just saying that. All right. So, now with the personality five, because I got to give numbers credit where they have credit. Okay. Um, Personality five, you're going to have someone who is a bit buck wild. You're going to have someone who likes to party. You're going to have somebody who likes adventure. Okay. Five energy wants expansion. They don't want predictability. They're the opposite. If they have too much predictability, they will rebel. They will get bored. They will get antsy, and eh, a lot of people don't know why. They just start doing it, and then they just start doing activities that breed chaos. So there's a lot of young people who have five placements or personality five, and unfortunately, if they are not self-aware, they will torch relationships and have infidelities, or just right not stick around for very long. So again, it depends on your self-awareness. It depends on a lot of other factors. But five is like, okay, this is not working for me. If I feel this way, I gotta bounce. So the more mature that five is, You do have variations, but ultimately, this is a person that does not like to be tied down unless there's a really, really special reason for it. Okay. This is a person that understands I can have what I need most effectively if I don't have to check in with anybody else. I can have what I most need, and that is to explore as much as I can when I don't have restrictions. So I would like to be free. And so a lot of times you'll see people who are single or again don't have sometimes the long-term relationships to make sure they can do this unless they find a partner that's just as crazy as they are. Okay? Or a partner that gives them a lot of freedom. A personality five, they are not going to be, again, satisfied with that typical career climb. You'll see them bouncing around in their expertise in what they do for a living. They want to gain new skills. They don't necessarily always want to be the best at one particular thing. They'd rather be the best at 5 things, and they'd rather, like, create, something specialized or something new, from multiple things coming together. So these are your people who are lifelong learners in a way where they're always gonna be like, "Oh, I came to an understanding, or I became this person because I had 2 experiences that lined up and I finally got it, rather than I read it, you read it from a book or one experience blew the lid off of them. That they're experiential people, so one could do it, but, what I'm trying to let you know is they need to put things together, and in order to do that, they need multiple things happening to them, so they go, "Oh, okay, now I get it because when I do that with this person, I get the same results. Or if I go to this country, the people are like this. And if I go to that country, the people are like that. Oh, that's what it means to be alive, or that's what it means to have a soul. I get it because I feel like I've been around the block and I've seen it. Uh I know people who have 5 placements too, and the personality number can come into effect with this, absolutely, where you will give them advice and they'll just be like, okay, that's great, and you'll be like, but this is really good advice, don't do that. You know what I mean? Or like, hey, it's your life, but like, here's the consideration, right? And if they haven't experienced something where that advice makes sense, they'll be like, it's okay. I'll torch my own ship. I gotta experience it." They're okay with experiencing really unconventional things to, get to where they're going. Okay. So you have a 5 personality, very fun, very unpredictable, and they want autonomy. Okay. So it's just a matter of where are they at in their life as they are being a little bit unpredictable and freedom based with most of their decisions. That's very important to consider. Um, what do they want to do next? And as long as they are not bored, they're content, but they get bored fast. So if you're a personality five, just be in charge of what you want your life to be, and make sure you're not rebelling around you with your decisions rather than being in tune with your decisions. All right. So, a personality six. A personality six, you're going to have somebody with a very strong paternal or maternal instinct. The six is all about mothering, okay? Paternal energy can provide like a mother, absolutely, but it really goes back to maternal energy, and this is very classic for the six. They want to take care of others. Their life is about how can I, nurture others. So you're dealing with babies, you're dealing with animals, you're dealing with other people, maybe the same age, that are sometimes disabled or they need help to get around, they need additional resources. The 6 is like the nurse. It's the natural nurse number. It's like I will nurture you into better health. I will help you stand up taller. That is my job to tend and serve you if that's what you need. And there's a lot of happiness that comes from being like that. Not everybody is meant to serve so selflessly, but the 6 really, really loves to do that, and they put their back into it. So 6s are very hard workers and they're very generous people. They're very generous people with whom they love, and they go above and beyond because that's how they function. Okay. So you see a lot of people who are personality 6s want to bring people together because they love family dynamics, whether they are unconventional or conventional. A 6 will breed family dynamics from that maternal energy. And you have people who, as long as they're happy, they will be really within their power. As long as, how can I put it? As long as they're happy in the environment they are in and they've chosen an environment where they like the people in it, or they feel like they have some power to make some changes for the better. You see 6s really leading in the capacity that is social. Where they go, okay, let's do a pizza party. Let's do, an after hours gathering. Let's do a celebration. Let's do like some type of contest where we get people motivated. They want to bring people together where everyone feels included. They want to bring people together in a way where they make sure that the environment and the energy is being looked after in its entirety well. So, whether it's a one on one patient experience or a friend that they are looking over, or a job sense, in a job sense, when dealing with people, they will, treat the group as one patient. How's the group functioning? Can I make things better? Can I make people smile? I want everyone to get along. So, they will make sure that the group environment is very well looked after, and they will step into a role of leadership in that capacity. For the rest of things, they don't have to be the leader, but to make sure everybody is happy and well looked after, they will step into a role of leadership, and they want to make sure that the person that they're working under allows them to take on this responsibility, or allows them to be in a role where they are appreciated for taking on these additional responsibilities. Okay. So, the 6 serves and protects, and you have people in the 6 energy who are they know what they want. Okay. They can be talked to and talked with along the way, but 6 it's very strong energy. They know what they want and they know it's good for other people. So just let them do their thing, right? And if you don't, they're going to be kind of resentful and they're going to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. You got to let them do what they do, and if it's not a good fit, people who are a personality 6 just bounce and find a good fit. There's so many people that crave harmony, and they want somebody to do the work, of bringing a place more light and space and more family and more attention and consideration. The 6s can do that. They can totally change and uplift spaces. Like, if you have a manager has 6 energy, they're gonna infuse so much personal devotion to a space. And really, they make places feel like home. They make empty spaces feel like home. They make, people who come from different walks of life come together. They really infuse so much of what it means to be human in environments, and they have very magnetic energy. Naturally, they pull others to them. Okay? They pull others to them where others will be curious about them. They're like, how do you do this? Or, like, wow, you know how to talk to me in a way where, I feel connected to. So the 6s know how to do that kind of stuff. It's not just a family thing, it's really much a Where do they infuse life into spaces kind of thing? And since they come with so much humanity, they will make things feel so personal a lot, and people will trust them very easily too. Okay, so a personality 6 can do a lot. Okay, very interesting. Personality 7. So when someone has a personality 7, you're gonna have a person who functions in society. Because remember, the personality numbers are how you function in society, group environments, and even one-on-one. It's just how you express yourself within the world very continuously. Um, you're going to have people who are more likely in this placement to have interest in the sciences and in math or in spirituality. You have a person who wants to devote their life to thinking and devote their life to being more so in solitude than your average person. This is not a personality where they go to recharge and then they come back. This is a personality that consistently likes to be a little bit of a hermit and likes to, know, analyze things. And so it does suit them to have a career where they can do that. It does suit them to have a social environment where they do have more acceptance in their alone time, with the capacity that they do need to be themselves. Um, you're going to have a person who likes puzzles. They like to figure things out. They like the hard problems. Um, so research is great for them, some place where they can untie things and have their mind stimulated for hours. They want to help solve the big questions, even if the big questions are connected to things that, let's say, don't necessarily seem like they change society completely. They're in the background making sure that things are done to help further answering the questions. They're doing the mental leg of the work sometimes if you don't see them in the forefront, okay? Um the personality 7 gives a person the capacity to be around others in a way where it makes them more thoughtful. Okay, people will rise more so to the occasion when they're infused with this personality within the mix. 7 is a very airy number. It's a very sensitive number too, but it's very, very airy. And so it infuses that into the spaces. So it allows people to want to, increase their understanding, want to see things from a different perspective, trust that the person they're having the conversation with is a person that can lead the conversation and open up that space. They'll be like, this person really knows what they're talking about. Okay. I want to hear from this person to know that I, I'm I'm looking at things correctly. So 7 I talk about a lot is the number of genius. So it invites people to stir up the mental side of themselves and look at things a little bit more carefully, a little bit more detailed, like a little bit more um what's the truth of the matter? It shakes things into place where people are not just talking for talking's sake, and that's what stimulates the 7, and that's what helps, stimulate others with the 7's presence. Alright, so personality 8. Personality 8. So we're gonna be wrapping it up in just a second, and we'll take a couple of, quick numbers. Um, a personality 8, so I'm gonna go through the last one a little bit faster. No worries, we'll have plenty of time to cover this, going forward. A personality 8. So you're gonna have somebody who is, um, it's a sturdy vibration. 8 is a number of physical possibilities, of enacting truth through manifestation, physical manifestation. So that's what's infused around others. The 8 is sturdy and doesn't wanna move or bulge unless there's really good reason to it. So you have people who are stubborn very naturally with a personality 8, but they also are stubborn because of principle, okay? They're like, "Oh, well, I'm not gonna do this," or "I will do this," based on a principle that is just so right on the money, I can't ignore it. Um, and only then will I budge because you prove a valuable point. And if they argue against it, they can be quite cold and they're just like, "Well, this is just the way it is. Why would I do that? Why would you do that?" It doesn't seem to be like a good suggestion. So these are people who have a lot of certainty with why they do the things that they do. They could be doing things for very odd reasons, but in their mind, there's a reason for why they're doing it, or there's a reason for why it's good for the group. If you can get them talking, there's a reason. Okay. So you have to really socialize with an 8 in a way where it is thoughtful and it is true. And um, if it's from the heart, they're going to be interested, but they're still going to test it. If it's from logic, they will accept it, they will still test it. These people are testers of what is the best way. What is the best way? What is the right way? But ultimately, what is the true way? All right. And these are individuals who have a desire to work more than others. Whether they are working efficiently or not is a different story again, but this is a person who is going to be always thinking or always physically trying to work on things in a way for improvement. They want things to be better for themselves. They are going to repeat a lot until they get it just right. So, with a personality 8, when someone comes into their power, when someone comes into the maturity, you have people who are very capable, and people who will walk into a room and other people will feel their presence and go, "Okay, you can get it done." It just radiates out from them. The 8 energy allows others to have trust and faith as long as they walk the walk and not just talk the talk. So that 8 energy will actually, again, if you can walk the walk, you will honestly get promoted very easily. You will be handed roles where people go, "I like your energy. Can you do this for me?" Or, "Okay, you've done great with this. How about this?" Um, the consideration of what it takes to chisel down yourself to become the best version of you will be very much baked into your psyche. But if you do the work, you get heavily rewarded. And this is a very outward placement of the 8 where you can actually reap the benefits of that quite nicely. So just heads up with that. Okay. So then we have the personality 9. When someone is a personality 9, other people will look at them kind of quite naturally like they are having something important to say. 9 is an old soul number. 9 embodies the other numbers. Yes, we talk about that from time to time. And 9 has this grace and capability to it at times. It can be either very okay, I want to highlight this. 9 can be very unconventional, where people go, "Whoa, what's that?" But it also can be very conventionally like ethereal too. So 9 is this spectrum of energy, and the 9 goes, "How do I want to be? How do I want to be?" And if they play the part of the ethereal, since it's so outward, this energy, other people will go like, "Oh gosh, you figured it out." I like the way you work, or I like the way you think. I like your energy. There's something about you. You figured it out. So people sometimes fawn over the 9, if the 9 plays into the part of that. If the 9 doesn't, people will gravitate towards a 9 and just take what they have to say more seriously in a way where it's not logical. They just feel it. They go, "Oh, I feel like I should pay attention to that." Again, The 9 it's not a number of the head, it's not the number of the mind, it's a number that inspires people or makes people feel a certain way. The 6 is like this and the 3 is like this, but the 9 does so in a way where it spiritually impacts people, not just entertains people. It spiritually impacts people to be more creative with their choices, but from a way of very true intrinsic meaning. Okay. So the personality of 9, um, it can come out to within careers that help with the entertainment industry, absolutely, because people with that 9 energy, they will most likely be a better speaker because people want to pay attention. They will more likely have a unique energy output. So again, if they're using their voice to sing, if they're playing an instrument, if they're writing, it's going to help them to get noticed. It's going to help them operate from a place where they're doing things that necessarily haven't been done before. And if they have been done, there's a twist on them. Okay. So 1 in 9, in outward placements like this. So I'm referencing the 1 for a second. It invites people to pay attention and it invites people to go, wow, you do that differently. I want to applaud that. So the 1 in 9 in outward placements, they do get recognition a little bit more easily. Okay. So certain numbers breed attention in certain placements. This is very true. And others, um, again, they're very, very prosperous, but you get more internal rewards or you get more um, chances to do things where, again, the attention part isn't as part of the equation so much. So with 9, people do get offered things. They won't always be in leadership roles because they really don't want to be, but they do get offered things like the 1 and the 8, because people are able to see them clearly as long as they're in their power. So this is very important. Our personality is our outward energy, but if we are outwardly conflicted, if we're outwardly confused, if we're outwardly, not sure of ourselves or going through it and coming into our power, we don't always get situations in our most favorable light. And we go, well, what's wrong? Why am I not? And it's really a testament of you have to step into who you are. And sometimes you have to fight for it, but you have to really chisel away of the parts of yourself that don't need to be there because you're allowing them to stay. Okay. We all have power. And sometimes there are things within our life where we go, this isn't a really good look on me, or I've been really looking to heal this or work with this. This is very hard, and we all have compassion within that. But there comes a time where you go, I got to do the work and make sure that this doesn't affect my life. And when that doesn't get looked at, it really affects the way that we use our energy and it really can dampen our outward numbers. So it does affect our personality number, absolutely. And once that gets rectified, you get to amplify a personality number and you get to attract experiences to you like a magnet. So really think about how you're exerting your energy in the world and what that means for you and what lessons you're still going through to make sure that you are where you need to be. All right, so let's do some quick numerology and we will close the show. So up top, Tina gave me her numbers. Um, okay, attitude, Tina, your attitude 8, personal day 8, and because you're born in September, so that's what I was saying earlier. Anyone who's born in September, they're gonna have double numbers. Okay, so that's why she's personal day 8 and attitude 8 because she was born in September. So there's that rule being exercised, and then she's life path 4. Okay, and then let's look at your cycle really quick. Okay, so Tina, you are in Just making sure that's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yes. Tina, you are in a year because you are attitude. Okay. You are in a year of six, cycle six. Yeah. And so when we're in a cycle six, there is a feeling of how do I belong? Where do I sit? And it is a deeply questioning year, especially if you have numbers, because I'm looking at your other numbers and your other numbers are quite different than the six energy. So it makes you feel like, where do I fit in? And you have two eights and a four. And so your entire life does prefer to be more steady and solid. You're always working to feel more comfortable in your skin. You're always making sure you have a schedule where you feel like, okay, I don't feel like I'm being pulled this way and that. Like you really like that security in your life to feel like things are planned and consistent. It makes you be able to shine in other departments. And the six, it does shake up that security from the emotional standpoint. It makes you feel like, am I doing the right things? Am I really doing the right things? And when you're in a cycle of six, it does let you know that your needs are not being met in certain capacities. So what happens if your needs are not getting met and you're not listening or you're not sure how to do it, your body starts going, okay, I feel really, really uncomfortable right now. And you have numbers that are very body sensitive. So it's going to height up the panic sometimes, which I empathize. That's not fun. That's not fun. And so to quell that, to really heal that, there has to be a lot of emotional energy and action and socializing to make peace with some of the new things you discovered. So, in order to quell, I really highly suggest going out and whether it's volunteering, where you can be around other people who, are not doing things for themselves and building things for a better life, like you're learning how to build things for a better life for yourself, or you're going out into an environment where you can be around others who come from a elevated perspective that you can socialize in. So whether it's online classes or something locally, I need you to definitely get involved with understanding how can I be emotionally supported by those around me and to make those decisions and not just think about it. So you have to shake up your social um, atmosphere, and the the social parts of you can't be for rudimentary, practical, everyday tasks where, we pick up the phone sometimes, we check in with family, we pick up the phone sometimes, we're checking in with, work, we're picking up the phone and, you know, maybe we're helping somebody with something, but again, it's not really fulfilling the real things we wish we could be talking about, or that the real problems that are on our mind. Okay. So and you have to put yourself in a different space to shake that energy up. So there you go. Rectify that, you'll have a huge energy resurgence this year. All right, then I'm gonna take one. I always take two. So Lily Rose, you have a question, but you have to put down your numbers. You have to put down your numbers so I can understand, because some I like to validate sometimes that people are indeed in a certain month. So sometimes people are asking about questions, but they're not calculating exactly their month. They're calculating the year or something, or they're I like to make sure of that. But let's just I'm gonna just answer it from a two perspective, okay? And we'll close the show like that. So she's asking about the current month. Um she's saying that some numerologists break up the month into 2D, but you use different numbers. Actually, I'm confused. I'm confused. To answer you, so how I break things up, there's multiple cycles, Lily. So we're gonna, talk about that in further shows, definitely because it takes time. But when you're looking at your month, you can look at the world month or your personal month. And so most people look at their personal month because that's how it's going to personally affect them. And you're going to be looking at your personal month. And within that, you're going to be seeing how things go kind of day to day for you too, as well, if you want to look at it deeper. But everybody has a personal year and a personal month. And if you know your personal month, you're going to link that to your personal year and kind of understand, okay, this is the theme of the year, but this month it's very highlighted that I would be dealing with this type of energy. So if you have a personal month of 2, you would be immediately knowing, wow, I'm going to be more unhinged this month. I'm going to be way more emotional. Things are just going to get to me where I feel it. I can't ignore it. I'm just going to feel it more amplified. I better make sure I am doing things for myself to help ground myself and to help understand what's coming through me during this time to make space for my emotional self. If not, I'm going to be volatile, whether with my sadness or my anger or other things that come out. Okay. So that's how you would look at it. I hope I answered that. Um, and then just before I go, so Janelle, I hope I'm saying your name right, Janelle or Janelle. So you are an attitude 4, personal day 4, because you're born in September, double 4. And then you are a life path 1. Oh, you are a life path 2. Yep. Let me just do your math rather than trying to do it with my head. Okay, so you are 76. You are life path 9. That's why I like to write things down. It just helps me focus. So you are a life path 9. And that means boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. When people have 9s in certain placements, it's always important within your life to establish how you're going to be helping your family, your friends, how much you put yourself out there, what do you want to do within life, and where you draw the line with how you help and serve. Okay. Your 4 helps you do that. Your 4 actually would help you to put on the brakes very naturally. So that's great that you have that tempered out. But it also highlights that you have 2 different um, drivers within yourself too. So 9 and 4, they work very differently. Okay. So they can balance you, but there's going to be times where you're very regimented and you're like, no, I got to do it this way. This is planning things out. Okay, this is how I'm going to do things. And then there's times where all of a sudden you do things that are completely from not even that perspective. And you're like, why did I do that? Oh my gosh, why did I do that? Like, I just felt the need, or I gave too much, even though I thought that that was a good decision. I just went overboard. So you have to know that you have these 2 parts to yourself, and even when you're feeling it, like you have a rush of I should be doing this, to really know before you come in. So I like to, heighten meditation, to heighten personal reflection. It's not a logical thing. 9 is not a logical energy. Okay. So really get in touch with your heart, really get in touch with your spirit of where do I draw the line? Because your 4 will help you draw the line mentally. Um, but you have to get in touch with your 9 boundary energy, and that is from a different place. And so if you have those in gear, you will feel much more steady and centered. You're a life path 9. So in order to be truly fulfilled, you have to be in some type of role where you are indeed giving back, whether it is charity, or it is helping to help others shine, helping to help uplift others. There has to be a place within your life where you're actively doing that, and life will give you a lot of opportunities too. It's just a matter of how you want to show up. So with that said, thank you everyone for being here today. We are going to be on in just a moment with the Psychic Hour with Shelly Sanders. See you at 1 o'clock. Please, everybody, go with so much love, luck, light, and don't forget to live. I will see you in just a bit.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTKDB.com.